Zisilo Zwelianda Hlongwane. And today, what are we talking about, Ketla?
Today's topic is 5 things affecting relationships between teens and parents.
Okay, now Zisilo, as we record this, you and I know that this is a touchy subject.
Yes.
But I, in having so many conversations with you,
Yes.
thought that this is so important because I think a lot of us as parents aren't even aware of how we're coming across to our children.
Yes.
We're also not aware of how we are affecting our children's mental well-being,
Yes.
as well as their emotional, academic, and even social well-being, right?
Yes.
So this is a touchy subject, and we're going to do it in a way that allows you to express yourself, and I will ask sort of leading questions, right?
Okay.
Don't be afraid to answer these questions. This is a
Okay.
safe space.
Mm-hmm.
And please, everybody, if you are watching, please share, subscribe, like, share it with your teens, share it with your teens. If you're a teenager watching this, share it with your parents. There might be something in here that you would have loved to say to your parent,
Yes.
but for whatever reason you're scared to do so.
Yes.
Well, we have Zisilo here to say it for you.
Yes.
Right, Ketla?
Yes.
Togos. So the first thing that we want to talk about, we're going to touch on 5 points. The first one is the issue of respect versus fear. Can you just talk a little bit about that? Let's have a conversation about that.
Okay, so one thing I've realized with a lot of children or a lot of teens that are my age is that, expressing their feelings with their parents, because it would be a situation of whereby there's a lot of teens that I know and I'm one of them, but expressing feelings with our parents is tricky because it might be a situation of if we do say come across or say the wrong thing, they would say that you're being very disrespectful, you know.
Right.
So now it installs that thing of don't talk about your feelings at all to your parents or just keep bottle it up.
Right. I like the way you sort of said if you say the wrong thing, because I'm here to tell you that there is no such thing as saying the wrong thing,
Mm.
particularly when you're expressing your feelings,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
When you are expressing your feelings are what they are.
Yes.
So, for example, if you're having a conversation with a parent
Yes.
and you happen to express to them that something they said or did has hurt you,
Yes.
that is not wrong.
Yes.
And the hurt you feel is not wrong.
Yes.
Therefore, expressing that hurt is not wrong.
Yes.
You are communicating to your parent that things are not okay
Yes.
with me based
Yes.
on what you've said to me or that you've done.
Yes.
So where does the fear come in then?
It would be a situation of whereby with the fear, once you've said the wrong thing, it would be a situation of there's a whole lecture of them shouting, or physically harming you, you know. So now once you do that, it's installing the fear of don't talk to your parents about your feelings or just don't communicate at all, which is something that's not good for
Right.
teens.
Right. So then what happens is the negative reaction or response you get from your parent
Yes.
reinforces in your mind
Yes.
that you cannot do this. You
Yes.
cannot share your feelings. You
Yes.
cannot share your thoughts.
Yes.
And I think I'd like to address this too. Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
When we were growing up,
Mm.
that's a long time ago,
Yeah.
we really did not talk to our parents
Mm.
at all,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So if your parent was upset with you or angry with you about something, even if it's something you hadn't done or it's something that you thought had an explanation,
Yeah.
you didn't even get the opportunity
What?
to express yourself. No, you didn't, because that would be labeled as you talking back
Yeah.
and being
Yeah.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
I think this is something that we really need to talk about. Your generation is different.
Mm.
Your generation is very different. I think that you are born in this world so that we can heal some of the trauma that we went through with our own parents.
Yes.
Because let's admit it, it's traumatic when you cannot communicate with the person that brought you into this world. It's traumatic when the person who brought you into this world cannot be made aware that they are hurting you, right? So, this whole thing of respect versus fear, a lot of kids are quiet about the things they go through because they have a deep seated fear of the reaction that they will get from their parents. The problem is a lot of parents are taking this thing as respect.
Disrespect.
Yeah, they think that when you're quiet, you're being
Mm.
respectful.
Mm.
What they don't actually realize is it's got nothing to do with respect. They actually fear you.
Mm.
Now, here's the thing: love and fear cannot coexist.
Mm.
So, if you are fearing a parent, what's going to happen to the love that you have for them?
Mm. I mean, for me, it's a situation of if you fear them, you might not, you might start pulling away from them
Mm-hmm.
from a situation of, you know what's going to happen, so you might as well just pull away and stop talking and just keep quiet in the form of you're doing okay or you're doing well. Meanwhile, they're not asking you if how you're doing or how your emotions feeling because they don't know specifically, Gucci, how are you doing
Right,
emotionally.
right, right.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the next issue, right? So now, issue number two is the inability to communicate emotions,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Um, I want to look at this from the perspective of being in a home. You have, say, two parents or one parent taking care of you.
Mm.
What becomes difficult for you to express your emotions, as you've said, sometimes maybe fear, right?
Yes.
But a lot of parents think that if they put food on the table,
Yeah.
if they pay your school fees,
Yeah.
they pay your extracurriculars,
Yeah.
they put clothes on your back,
Yeah.
they send, whatever it is, they provide for you materially.
Yes.
They they seem to think that that is parenting.
Mm.
They seem to think that that is parenting.
Yeah.
And I speak from experience with this.
Mm.
I mean, I know that my dad was a great provider. He made sure that we had everything.
Mm.
But my dad was also very emotionally unavailable.
Mm.
So, you being the generation that can talk about these things openly,
Mm.
and I know that there are millions of children out there who experience this kind of thing.
Mm.
What would you like to say to parents in terms of your emotional and mental well being and being able to make themselves available to listen and deal with your emotional and mental well being?
Okay. So first of all, you know, one thing I can say is that parents, like, if possible, stop this thing of I provide this for you, I do that for you, I put clothes on your back, I do that and that, but you still don't see Guti how much I love you. You guys need to understand from our perspective, Guti. Yes, we do appreciate all the things that you do for us and provide us with, but also you need to understand that when there's days when we're not okay or there's days that we're not doing okay, you don't really look at that fact, so you don't ask yourself, Guti, what's wrong, you know. So from my perspective, how I would say that you guys could deal with it is a situation whereby I'm not saying be friends with your child at all. I'm just
Right.
saying that, you know, at least have the ability to be able to communicate to your child about how they are feeling. Let them express their feelings.
Togoza.
Because now it's situations whereby now kids can't express their feelings without them or you guys shouting and saying that I've done this for you, I put this on you, I put food on the table. We appreciate that, but then please do create to understand our emotions and how we're doing emotionally, you
Togoza.
know, because now it's situations whereby we would go days without talking, days without work, days with sitting in our room bed rotting. So now it's situations like that where to you guys you might just think, oh no, she's just, or he, she, whoever this person is, whoever your child is just bored, or she's just wants to be alone and stuff. No, it's situations whereby you guys don't want to come and check and see with you what specifically is wrong with my child,
Togoza.
you know. And then after that, you guys are going to have this assumption that no, he's okay or she's okay, without looking at the near fact that your child has been in the room for more than 3 days, not talking to anyone about this whole you know. So it's things like that. It's the little things that matter.
Togoza, kid.
Yeah.
The little things that matter. I love how you said that.
Yeah.
So an example, say maybe you're coming from school
Mm.
and somebody says, "How was your day?"
Mm.
as opposed to, "Go quickly get out of your school uniform and do your homework,"
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And when the question comes, "How was your day?" the expectation for us parents is that you're going to say, "Good." The
Mm.
way people are like, "Oh, how are you?" And everybody says, "I'm fine." Meanwhile, half
You're
the
not
people in this
fine.
world are not fine.
Yeah.
So it's that thing, right?
Yeah.
You come home and the question is, "How was your day?"
Yeah.
The parent, when asking that question, must be ready to hear how that day was
Yeah.
really, right? If it was a shitty day, that's that opportunity to take that 10, 15 minutes
Yeah.
before you change out of your school uniform and get on with your homework, which are important things to do.
Yeah.
But that 15 minutes of contact
Yeah.
where the child gets to share with the parent
Yeah.
exactly how their day was,
Yeah.
sometimes just so that they can get encouragement, right?
Yes.
And like, who are the primary people you look for solutions for problems? Tell me that.
So it's situations whereby, with my in my situation, when there would be times where I'm not doing well, or if I'm not doing well emotionally, to look for solutions and stuff, I would rather go to either my sister or my mom,
Yeah.
because it's also situations whereby they understand they understand how I'm feeling, they understand where I'm coming from, and having the ability to express my feelings to them is very nice,
Yeah.
because it's an understanding of, yes, yes, my mom is not my age, or yes, my sister is my age, and all, and we're both having our issues and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they do have an understanding and a way to see from in a person my age's perspective. They're able to understand how we are feeling from my perspective.
Yeah.
That's just the one thing.
I asked that question because it's a very important question. And I asked it, but I already know the answer.
Yeah.
As a child, the first place you go to when you have problems, or that you should be able to go to when you have problems, is your parents,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Your parents have a responsibility
mm.
to help you through your journey of life.
Yes.
And so when there is no communication,
Mm,
or when there is that blockage that prevents you from actually sharing what's going on in your life,
mm,
it becomes a problem, because now you don't have somewhere where you can go to get solutions for some of your problems.
mm.
And what ends up happening to a lot of teens?
When you don't get any solutions for your problems and stuff, it would be a sort of situation whereby this teen or this person might feel left alone, or have nowhere to go at all, no one to talk to at all.
Or turn to the wrong company,
Yeah.
right? That's another big problem.
Yeah. Because
They then turn to, say, adults who are not in the family, who may not be good for them,
yeah.
who may not have the proper solutions for their problems, or who may take advantage of
Yeah.
the fact that this young person is vulnerable. They literally look like they don't have parents,
Yeah.
and they get taken advantage of,
Yeah,
right?
because it'd be situations whereby you would express your feelings, or you would talk to one of your family members or whoever about what's going on, and then after that, you expecting good today just going to understand where you're coming from and keep quiet about this, knowing that they had a conversation with you. Next thing that happens, they go blabbing to the whole family about what happened.
So trust, right? Trusting the adults in our lives.
Yeah.
So that's also affecting teenage relationships with their parents and with
Yeah.
adults, right?
Yeah.
Is trust. So that we would call that number 3,
Yeah.
that trust component. I
Mm.
think a lot of adults don't realize that just the same way we feel when someone breaks our trust
Mm.
is the same way that you as teenagers feel when someone breaks your trust,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you shared something with me and you said, "Please, this is between you
Mm.
and I promise you that it's between you and I,"
Mm.
then I break the trust, that bond of trust, if I take that information
Mm.
to someone else.
Mm.
And what does that do to you as a young person? How does that make you feel?
Well, in my emotions, it just makes me feel that I can't trust you with anything. Something, it's also a situation of apologizing and stuff.
Oh, yes. This brings us to number 4.
Yeah.